This was me 3 years ago. My drums sound like... So what changed me? Today we learn 7 essential tips and 4 secret tips to program drum kits. If you seriously want to develop your production skills, I highly suggest you watch and listen to real drummers and recreate their performances on your DAW. That's the best way to learn to produce acoustic instruments. And I think that's far more helpful and practical than watching like production tutorials. Wait a minute, then why do you have to watch this video? Because some of the following tips are practical, useful for production, and others will help you listen to or be aware of their techniques. Having a checklist makes a huge difference, right? Anyway, let's quickly see the other essential tips. Let's set up a drum kit. I like to use a drum library with multiple outputs. In this way, I can mix the individual drums with my effect plugins. And I like using multiple MIDI tracks. For example, in this project, I used these 2 separate tracks. One for kick and snares and toms, and the other for hi-hats and cymbals. If you program them at the same time in one MIDI, the velocity lane will be a mess like this, It's hard to tell which one is kick and which one's hi-hat. So I like to use separate MIDI tracks. This is better, right? When you program acoustic instruments, you need to keep the physical limitations in your mind. For example, drummers can't hit 3 drums simultaneously, except for pedals for kick and opening and closing hi-hat. If your sample library has separate samples for right hand and left hand, you should take advantage. Well, a drummer is responsible for rhythm, of course, but you have to make sure that they work well with the other elements of your song. Even when you use MIDI files, you should be careful. And next, well, rests are very important. You don't have to feel all the grids, So think like this. A rest is a note, It's as valuable as hits. I add quiet notes, aka ghost note. In drum kits, we use snare drums of low velocity. By filling empty spaces, well, it adds speed. B#7, these samples are ghost snares. Can you hear it? It's lucky if your sample library has ghost snare samples. If not, use drums with lower velocity. Are you ready for secrets I learned from drummers? If so, please hit like and subscribe. This channel gives you practical information in short time. Join us now and let's enjoy music production together. Pro tip number 1. Well, velocity isn't just about the volume, See how it differs depending on the velocity. Quiet. I think of a velocity as more timbre than just volume, So I set this velocity to get this sound. I set this velocity to get different sound. Human ears pay attention to the sound that comes first. So be careful when you hit the 2 drums at the same time. Ask yourself which attack do you want to hear. For example, I use kick drum and ride at the same time, But if the ride comes before kick, it will sound like more ride. And if it comes after kick, huge difference, right? Like it's boom. You can hear boom or ride ching, So yeah, this does make big difference. And hi-hats are part of grooves. People like to program hi-hats like this. Static hi-hat rhythm. Well, it's totally okay, but a drummer has one brain, so make sure the hi-hats work well with other drums. By the way, static hi-hats isn't the only option. Pay attention to drums. Drums are far more interesting than I thought. It isn't something like just basic drum pattern plus fills. See how kicks, snares, cymbals, and hi-hats work together. It's better than the last example, right? And see how professional drummers play drums with, other elements. They work pretty well. well, this isn't, this is just my programming, but you know, see how drummers play drums with other elements like bass, saxophone, etc. That's what I have to practice more. So now it's your turn. Search YouTube for drum performance and recreate it in your DAW. And let me know what you learn in the comments. Not every library can produce realistic sounds. If you're looking for a detailed drum sample library, watch this. Thank you so much for watching till the end. See you soon. If you can dream it, you can produce it. Cut, cut, cut.